Grand Rising, everybody. How you doing? It's Coach Renz. We back again for What's Wrong with the Bible. Exodus 25, 26. Woo! I gotta tell y'all, I'm gonna try to make this as entertaining as possible, and hopefully we get through this relatively quickly and get to the end where we can just have other conversation. But since we committed to this whole storyline, we're gonna continue with this storyline. I gotta tell you, I don't even understand why this part of the Bible is even in the Bible. It shouldn't even be in here. There's absolutely, in my opinion, no reason that this part should even be in here. I don't know. I don't know why it's here. But it's in the goddamn thing. So since it's in the daggone thing, we're gonna have to talk about the daggone thing, right? I mean, that's how we do it. If it's in there, we talking about it. Whew. And I'm kind of mad that I did a video like last week about the ark. Then somebody had asked me a question about the Ark of the Covenant and what is it and that sort of thing. I wish I had saved that video for this right here, because at least that would have made it a little bit more entertaining. So we'll go over some of that stuff again. If you haven't seen it, great. If you have seen it, just refresh it. As y'all know, I'm known as Uncle Renz Popcorn. Well, I do own Uncle Renz Popcorn, but I also own Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. If you are ever in town, come on by, hang out with me a little bit. Even if you don't smoke, we can sit outside and have a conversation. But thank you guys for sharing these videos. You know, sharing these videos. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Share the videos, because sharing is caring. Share them, like them, share them some more. All the other videos that are posted, share them. You like it, share it. Everybody who gives to the channel financially, I appreciate you. Always do, always will. But I appreciate you. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? I'm still waiting on Deborah to come by the lounge, y'all. I'm going to say that every live until Deborah comes by the lounge. I'm going to rub it into the ground, young lady, because you shouldn't have said it. What? So we've been going through this here Bible, because people say, you need to read your Bible. You don't know the Bible, because you need to read your Bible. Then let the Holy Spirit come inside you and indwell upon you. When the Holy Spirit indwells upon you, then you will receive the understanding of the Lord. You'll start taking things out of context. You'll start recognizing that all the different doctrines that have gone on through history have all led up to this point where we now have the correct doctrine of the Lord, and that you can come out of your evil ways, and it don't matter about the other stuff, and you get to go and live eternity in heaven with Jesus and God the Father and the Holy Spirit, and you're going to praise Him all day, and you escape hell, but there's nothing but gnashing of teeth and breaking the bone and burning the flesh, and you get the eternity in heaven. While everybody else is suffering in hell, you in heaven, eating from the 12 trees that produce fruit annually. Yes! So that's why we read this book. Don't ask me why I did that. I have no idea. It just hit me. The Holy Spirit just hit me. I felt the Spirit deep inside me. And when the Spirit hit me deep inside, I just had to go with it. Oh, what's that voice? I don't know. I don't know. I could just, talk to you like this the whole time. And because I once knew a little girl named Maria, and, this is how I imagined her that she would talk. And so when I saw Maria talking, I said, hi, that's such a nice and pretty little voice. I did do a video where I spoke. I was in this car. I was doing this video, and I started the entire video speaking, in this nature. And the gentleman said, well, all this time I've been following you, and I absolutely had no idea that you weren't American, that you actually have an accent. And I told the chap, I said, sir, did you not watch the video? I explicitly explained that I was putting on, that that was not my normal voice, that I am not British, I am an American, but I just, decided I wanted to play with the video. I do not understand why he was fooled by it, personally, since he said that he watched so many of my videos. Do you think that if I had a British accent, that I would have to go to the length of making videos using an American accent? No, I would maintain a British accent because either one works very well when you're making videos in English, the American accent or a British accent. It's not like I had a Cockney accent though. A Cockney accent will be a lot more difficult because then maybe you're not understanding everything I say. Anyway, all right, that's enough of that stalling tactics. It's past 5 minutes, so it's time for us to get started. It is a little warm in here, though. It's a little warm in here, but we're gonna see if I can take the heat. Because usually we have one doors open, there's airflow, but a little warm in the joint today. It's a little warm in here. Hell no. Hold on, y'all. Let me turn this air conditioner on real quick. Turn it down some. We gotta make it go down, 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 down. Woo! It's 75 degrees in this joint. It was 75 degrees. Yeah, no, it's too hot. Too hot. Too hot. All right. This is gonna be kind of interesting today in my reading because I got one contact in. I'm riding with one contact today, so and this might be just at the wrong distance. Let me see. Yep, that's just worse. All right. So previous chapters, we went through this whole, with some sacrifices and getting the tablets and the hierarchy of who's on top, who going up to the mountain, who ain't. Moses going up there, Aaron staying in the middle, the elders after that, then all the regular people. We talked about two dudes who just showed up out of nowhere, but their children become important later. So we're gonna continue now. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. These next few chapters, like I really wish Exodus just ended, like already, like it was just over, or it skipped these parts. Because these parts are horribly boring. But we're gonna fish out of it what we can. There's only one good. There's one part that excites me about this part, but we're gonna fish out of this whatever we can get out of it. All right. Let's see. Let me try something. Yeah. I'm just gonna read with one eye. Yep, that's how we're gonna do it. Because I'm at the perfect distance for the reading glasses, but not the contact. So the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to bring me an offering. You are to receive the offering for me from everyone whose heart prompts them to give." That's so nice. Whoever heart prompts them to give. But these are the offerings you are to receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen, goat hair, ram skin, dyed red, and another type of durable leather, acacia wood, olive oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the fragrant incense, and only stones, and onyx stones and other gems to be mounted as an ephod and breastplate. So you got some people out in the desert. You did Shanghai some of the Egyptians when you left. You convinced God made the Egyptians give them stuff. But now this God needs an offering. Why does he need the offering? Why does he need gold from these people who are out in the middle of the desert? Why does he need these things? Why does he need the linen and the blue and the purple and the scarlet yarn? And he's got to be very specific about it. We're going to get back into that even more so in the next chapter. But this is why. Then have them make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. Make this tabernacle and all its furnishings exactly like the pattern I will show you. You know, in ancient times, they believed that their gods had to have a house. I did a video about that, I think, like a couple of weeks, last week or a couple of weeks ago, where I was talking about, you had to have a house for your God. That one of the biggest changes that happened after the Babylonian captivity is that the Jewish people realized they got to take God out of the house. Because if you can destroy the temple, then you're destroying the house of that God, and then that means that your God is weaker than the other people's God. But here we have that belief demonstrating itself that God got to have a house, because the only way he can dwell with these people is if he got to have a house, if he has a house and got some gold. And we're going to hear the contradiction in just a minute. At least I think it's a contradiction. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I don't mind being wrong. That's one thing I always say. If I'm wrong, I can take it. All right. So have them make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, 1.5 cubits high. Overlay it with pure gold, both inside and out. Make the gold moldings around it. Cast 4 gold rings for it, and fasten them to it 4 feet, with 2 rings, one on one side and 2 rings on the other side. Then make poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. It's a lot of gold. Insert the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark to carry it. I think they could have figured that out on their own. The poles are to remain in the rings of the ark. They are not to be removed, because once you put them in there, don't take them out. Because if you touch the box, then you might die. That comes later. Grand rising, everybody. Where was I? Then put the ark. The ark not to be removed. Then put in the ark the tablets of the covenant, which I will give you. Good morning. Okay. The one thing, this guy is incredibly detailed about this box, but not so much about how you treat people. And that's going to be a repetitive theme that I'm going to say in this whole thing. How we are to treat people, not so detailed. But my box got to be right. Make an atonement cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide. And make 2 cherubims out of hammered gold at the end of the cover. Really? Make 2 cherubims? Okay. Make 1 cherubim on one end, and the second. I'm gonna see if somebody else gonna say what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna read a little bit while y'all see if y'all say what I'm thinking. Make 2 cherubims out of hammered gold at the end of the cover. Make 1 cherubim on one end and the second cherubim on the other end. Make the cherubim of one piece with the cover at the 2 ends. The cherubim are to have their wings spread upward, overshadowing the cover with them. The cherubim are to face each other, looking towards the cover. Let's see. It's ridiculous detail. Easier to build a home than a Hadron Collider issue. You right? Let's see if anybody slave labor. Okay. So he's telling them to build this. I'm gonna see if anybody is thinking what I'm thinking. I'm gonna keep reading this until I can give y'all a chance to see what you think. So place the cover on top of the ark and put in the ark the tablets of the covenant law that I will give you. There above the cover between the 2 cherubims that are over the ark and the covenant law. I will meet with you and give you all my commands for the Israelites. I see something wrong with that last part. Maybe it's just me. But I could have swore up and down that just a little while ago, a couple chapters ago, when he was giving the 10 Commandments, he said, him said, talking about this God, Yahweh, Adonai. Do not make any graven images of anything in the heavens or of the earth, in the sea below or in there. But I could have swore he said, don't make images. And to this day, and you go to a synagogue, you know, they don't have a picture that they say this is God, these are angels. You know, they don't do like the Christian people do. These are angels and these are saints and this is Jesus and all that. No images. That was their issue with the Roman government. The Roman government wanted them to put a statue of Caesar, you know, and they were like, hell no, we're not doing it. So, you know, I'm just saying. And am I the only one to think that there's something funny with that? That's funny. He just wanted that golden calf for the goat. Right. We're gonna get a little bit later. He gets mad because they make a golden calf, but yet he's telling them to go ahead and make some cherubim. You see, this is one of those things about this religion. If you do something and it's not of this God, but you do something that is of this God, it could be the exact same thing. One is deemed evil, the other one is not. You make some cherubim. I told you don't make nothing in heaven, but go ahead and make a cherubim. You know, the same thing that I put to keep Adam and Eve from knowing where the garden is at, to keep y'all from knowing, you know, nobody, according to the Bible, nobody's ever going to be able to find the Garden of Eden because he placed a cherubim there with a flaming sword so that nobody can find it, right? So them same type cherubim, which is is a type of angel, you want to symbolize them on top of this box. Now, if some of the people are correct when they say that the Ark of the Covenant is a communication device, because in other aspects of this book, it's going to talk about how he used the Ark of the Covenant was used to communicate with God. And they say the cherubim represents antennas. You know, I don't know how y'all are, but I remember being, what's up, Anthony? I remember being the antenna for the parents' television, for my grandparents' television. You know, they call you in from outside playing, and you got to hold the antenna, you got to hold it in the right spot, and then you can't let it go. They make you stay there until they finish watching their show. You take that aluminum foil and put it on the end of that antenna. Y'all know about that aluminum foil on the antenna. But for those who say that the Ark is a communication device, well, when it talks about the Ark being a communication device, they say that the cherubims were there to represent the antennas. But it's still cherubims. You could have just put, you know, gold rods. Just make a gold cylindrical rod with a bulb on top. So make it look like a TV. With a bulb on top, a ball on top made of gold, one pointing, you know, inward and one pointing outward, one pointing outward the other direction. If it was just an antenna, but you made it into cherubims, which goes against your whole thing of don't make any graven images of anything in the heavens. And you just told them to do so. So you're a hypocrite. If you don't go contradiction, hypocrite. One or two. The Garden of Eden is outer space. The entire story, is about star constellations. I've heard that theory that Adam and Eve happened in a different astral plane, and then when they ate from the tree, they manifested into the matter world. It's all a myth to me. You know, it's all myth. There is no Adam and Eve. They never existed. It's a Jewish story. And actually, we're going to talk about that on a different live. And the live tomorrow is going to be real live. I might even open up one of the pages and let the TikTokers in here, because you know TikTokers are kind of crazy. But let the TikTokers in here on tomorrow's live. But that's tomorrow, though. Let's talk about today. Now we're going to continue. Now we got to talk about this damn table. Yep, silliness. I think that's true. I can't really see that well because I got one contact in, one out. But make a table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long a cubit wide and a cubit and a half cubit high. Overlay it with pure gold and make golden moldings around it. Also make around it a rim of hand breadth. I don't know what hand breadth is. A hand breadth wide, sorry. And put your gold molding on the rim. Whose hand? Like, how do you measure that? Because you can have, that's like when your grandma make a recipe and she's like, oh, put a pinch of that in there, honey. Or just put like a little bit of palm of that in there. Who palm? All this other stuff you've been exact. Now you want to be a hand breadth. Make 4 gold rings for the table and fasten them to the 4 corners, where the 4 legs are. The rings are to be close to the rim to hold the poles used in the carrying of the table. Make the poles of acacia wood, overlay them with gold, and carry the table with them, and make its plates and dishes of pure gold, as well as the pitchers and the bowls for the pouring out of offerings. Put the bread of the presence on this table and table to be before me at all times. Whew. I can't wait to get some more contacts on Friday so I can read better. Look, we understand Moses didn't write this book, y'all. Let's clarify that. Moses, not the author. He's not the daddy of this book. This book was written after the Babylonian captivity by the priestly clan of the Judaites. Maybe even some of the tribe of Israel, the northern kingdom of Israel, wrote some of it too. But mostly it's the priest of the southern kingdom of Judah who wrote this. All these things are going to end up inside the tent of the holiest of holies that the priests are going to have going to be the only ones that have access to it. So this is for the priests so they can have some loot and some nice things. And y'all hear this being preached all the time about them wanting some nice things. There's another part we're gonna get to. I think it's in the next chapter where it really just exemplifies the how they utilize this kind of thing in order for the priesthood to have more stuff. Right. Yes, Christians are irritatingly pompous. I will grant you that one, sir. All right, so that was about the table. Oh my God, this stuff is so stupid. Like, you could have spent time writing about no slavery, treat women equally and fair, that women are equal. Don't genocide people. But no, tables and shit. Down to the details. Make a lampstand of pure gold. Hammer it out hammer its base and shaft and make it flower-like. It's flower-like cups, buds, and blossoms on one piece with them. 6 branches are to be extended from the side of the lampstand. 3 on one side and 3 on the other. 3 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms are to be on one branch, 3 on the next branch, and the same for all 6 branches extending from the lampstand. I mean, he getting down. God, the interior decorator. That's what we got. God, the interior decorator. 1 bud shall be under the first pair of branches extended from the lampstand. The second bud is under the second pair, and the third bud under the third pair. 6 branches in all. The buds and branches shall all be of one piece, with the lampstand hammered out in pure gold. Yeah. This writer he was tripping, had some good shrooms that day when he wrote this. He was like, yes, it's so cool, man. Yeah, man, we're going to make this lampstand, man. We're going to have like pure gold. And we're going to have some flowers blossoming, looking like almonds, man. And it's going to be numerically centrific, man. You're going to look at it and you're going to be like, whoa. Like, it was on some stuff. Right. Then make it 7 lamps. Then make it 7 lamps and set them up on it so that they light the space in front of it. Why we wouldn't set it up so that it light the space? Its wick trimmers and trays are to be of pure gold. It's a lot of goddamn. They are making sure the priesthood got a lot of money. Got a lot. That's $10. That's a lot of money. A talent of pure gold is to be used for the lampstand and all the accessories. See that you make them according to the pattern shown you on the mountain. So he's doing all this from memory, from a pattern that was shown him. Let's be real. That chapter, plus the next chapter, because you got the priest, and Babylon was the big dog of the day in the Levant. They really just copying what the Babylonians had and what was culturally there already in the 500s. If you look at any artifacts of temples and things like that in the 500s, they already had it set up that way. So they just putting it in the Bible, and most of the time in the Torah, rather. And most of the time they were getting it from the Babylonians. You look up Babylonian stuff, and it's similar, especially with all these flowers and buds and arcs and golden lamps and all this. It's similar, and especially the city of Babylon in its highest levels. This next part about how they do the tabernacle in 26 is very Babylonian. And they trying to, you got to compete. It's kind of like the arms race. We got a nuke. Y'all got to get a nuke. We got 2 nukes. We're going to get 3, or we're going to get 4, or we're going to get 5. It's all competition. It's just like y'all folks in their neighborhood. You see the neighbor got a good looking yard, you want to have a good looking yard. So all of this written by these priests is just to make sure that the priesthood got some cash, looking good, taken care of. This is why these pastors say, should I not look good? What was that pastor that told them people, I asked for some kind of watch last year, and y'all still ain't got it. I bought you this and bought you that. That's why the priesthood automatically think they should have all this stuff and the people should give it. And he said from the very beginning, people giving from their heart. Give from your heart, but this is what I want you to give. You can't tell me how to give. You can't tell me how to be charitable. You can't tell me be charitable from my heart, then tell me what my heart got to do. What limitations? I want to give from my heart, but you can only give, this color linen. I can't give you orange. All I got is orange linen. I just got orange yarn. But you only want blues and purples. That's a problem. Yep. But the thing about it, Slaughter, is that black people don't people in period, but black people don't read, since that's what we're talking about. They ain't reading this book. They ain't reading this part. And if they do, they just gloss over it. It's like they're trying to make a transformer something to give energy and light. The Ark of the Covenant, yes, there are some people who say that the Ark is a power source, that the weapon, of so to speak, that the tablets were made out of uranium and they were placed inside of this capacitor, or that the Ark itself was a capacitor, because if you look at the way it's designed and the materials used, it could function as a capacitor. The only thing is that the uranium hasn't been through nuclear fusion, so not necessarily going to work that way. But yet it got descriptions of it, how people start getting, when they take it to different places, people got sick and all these sorts of things. So, and the sickness resemble radiation poison, and then have somebody touches it and they get struck by lightning. So this book, it's a what do they call it in the movies? I forgot what it's called in the movies, when something that needs to be exactly what the protagonist needs at that moment. It's always exactly what they need. Not a MacGuffin. I don't think it's a MacGuffin. I can't think of it. Anyway, I'm sure my Google people will come up with it. You know who I'm talking about. So let's continue in 26, because 26 is long. And to me, it's long and boring. I need some coffee on that one. Let's get into the arrogance of this home decorating God. Make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of finely twisted linen and blue and purple and scarlet yarn with cherubims woven into them by a skilled worker. Again with the cherubims. I thought that they weren't supposed to make images of anything in heaven. But again with the cherubim, they keep doing it. And you gotta have a skilled worker. Don't be giving no apprentice, no rookie. You need a skilled worker. You need a master. This is God's work. You have a master. But notice the colors. So if you look at the colors of the temples and the dressings of the temples in Babylon during that time frame, those temples were blue, purple, and scarlet. Very same type of color scheme. You know. All the curtains are to All the curtains are to be the same size. 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together and do the same with the other 5. Make loops of blue material along the edge of the edge of the end of the curtain on one set, and do the same with the end curtain on the other set. Make 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the same set with the loops opposite of each other. Then make 50 gold clasps and use them to fasten the curtains together so that the tabernacle is a unit. Make curtains of goat hair. So all this gold, but now we got to make curtains of goat hair because goat hair is like durable. So that's why he chose it. That's the only rationale I think of why they use goat hair. But make curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle. So there's a tent over the tabernacle. There's gonna be some more. They got some holy, and then you're gonna have the holy of holies. 11 along. All 11 curtains are to be the same size, 30 cubits long, 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together into one set, and the other 6 into another set. Fold the 6th curtain double at the front of the tent. Make 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and also along the edge of the end curtain in the other set. Right, they're building this shrine. They do the holy pokey, then they shake it all about. But yes, they're building this shrine, and it's just the detail to which this guy has to make sure his house is. But he fed them insect shit as manna for 40 years. He couldn't be as detailed. It took the details of the 6 days of creation were less detailed than this. This dude is like every little nook and cranny, but we couldn't get all the details of your creation. Here's our 50 loops. Make the 50 loops class and put them in the loops and fasten the tent together as a unit. As for the additional length of the tent curtains, the half curtain that is left over is to hang down at the rear of the tabernacle. The tent curtains will be a cubit longer on both sides. What is left will hang over the sides and the tabernacle so as to cover it. Make for the tent a covering of ram skin dyed red, and over that a covering of the other durable leather. How do you get ram skin? You got to kill a ram. This bloodlusting God, in order to have his temple, we got to kill some animals. We got to, hopefully they just cut the hair off the goats. Didn't have to kill all the goats just so that you can have some curtains. You know, so much detail into your little house. But all those details, well, where's your details in how to govern your people better? That part missing. You got details on slavery. You got details on the oppression of women. You're going to have details about that, but you ain't going to have detail about kindness. There's no details about kindness. There's no, there's vagueness about kindness. There's vagueness about all these other things that we would say is moral, how to treat children. But you're going to get some detail. But his house got the absolute most detail because this dude is all about self. Let's continue. Make upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame is to be 10 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide, with two projections set parallel from each other. Make all the frames of the tabernacle in this way. Make 20 frames from the south side of the tabernacle. Make 40 silver bases to go under them. 2 bags for each frame, one under each projection. For the other side, the north side of the tabernacle, make 20 frames and 40 silver bases, 2 under each frame. Make 6 frames for the far end, that is the west end of the tabernacle, and make 2 frames from the corners, that is the far end. At these 2 corners, they must be doubled from the bottom all the way to the top and be fitted into a single ring. Both shall be like that. So there will be 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. We still ain't done. We still not done. Still not done. With all this, God, the interior decorator, also make crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for those on the other side, 5 for those, 5 for the frames on the west and at the far end of the tabernacle. The center crossbar is to extend from end to end at the middle of the frame. Overlay the frame with the gold and make gold rings to hold the crossbars. As overlay the crossbar with gold. Also overlay the crossbar with gold. Set up the tabernacle according to the plan shown to you on the mountain. Realize he just shown this plan to Moses on the mountain, and Moses memorized all of this. I think not. I think the priest in the kingdom of Judah was looking at their temple and say, yes, we're going to write this in the Bible. So that got 50 rings of gold, and that got overlays of gold, that got some silver bases, and that got 16 of them. Yeah, I'm going to write that in the Bible. And they just wrote it as they seen, as they saw how they were already worshiping this Yahweh in the 500 BCE. And they're backdating it to make it seem like Moses wrote this stuff back in the day, and they're just following suit and doing what's right. I just went for a smoke and came back, and you still, dude. 25 and 26 is all about. 26 is all about this damn temple. That's it. That's it. All right, we ain't done with the tabernacle, y'all. We still got some more tabernacling to do. Still got some more tabernacling. Not that much. We almost done with this one. Then we can have some conversation. Make a curtain of blue and purple and scarlet yarn, which is what I said. If you go and you look at how they built temples in the Babylonian temples, these were the color schemes that they used in the Babylonian temples. So make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen with cherubims woven into it by a skilled worker. Doesn't that sound repetitive? Didn't he already say that? Like they need to make the story longer? Because he already said that. I know y'all didn't realize that maybe, but he already said that. And again, with the cherubims, right? With the cherubim. Make no images of anything in heaven, but you can make some cherubims. Hang it with gold hooks on 4 posts of acacia wood, overlay with gold and standing on the 4 silver bases. Hang the curtain from the clasps and place the Ark of the Covenant law behind this curtain. This curtain will separate the holy place from the most holy place. So you got the holy place. Maybe in the holy place you can wear your shoes, but in the most holy place you got to take off your shoes. But in the holiest of holies, that's the most holy place. This is why, like the guy in Ethiopia who claimed that they have the Ark of the Covenant, only one person could go into the most holy place, in the holiest of holies. You know, and they've always had this holiest of holies. The whole place is supposed to be holy, but this is the most holy place where the covenant law is. And they still keep this kind of a mentality today. Put the atonement cover of the Ark of the Covenant law in the most holy place. Place the table outside the curtain on the north side of the tabernacle, and put the lampstand opposite it on the south side. For the entrance of the tent, make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer. Ooh, he tried to change it up and say the work of an embroiderer instead of most skilled worker like he did before. Make gold hooks for this curtain and 5 posts of acacia wood, overlaid with gold, and cast 5 bronze bases on for them. That's the first time he mentioned bronze the whole time. He told people to give gold, silver, and bronze. The bronze was for the least amount of anything. So if a bunch of people, bronze is on the lower pay scale, and the majority of people didn't have as much money. It's always the same way. The majority of people don't have as much money. So I bet you they had more bronze than gold, but they barely used the bronze. Only 5 bronze bases. Let's see. I know I missed some of you guys' comments, but this was like a whole lot of wasted energy in this book to create this tent, this tabernacle tent for the Levites. You see, if you think about it earlier, it said that the Levites would be separated from the people, that they wouldn't have animals, they wouldn't have land or anything like that, that the Levites' job was to take care of the worship. So because the Levites are in this position, this is this God's attempt at keeping the Levites in a wealthy state. We understand that this is something that they would have learned from the Egyptians anyway, because as you go back to Genesis, when we was talking about Joseph, Joseph was talking about how during those 7 years of famine that he didn't have to give anything to the priesthood or take anything from the priesthood because they got a monthly stipend from the government anyway. So this is the Jewish way of taking that idea of the monthly stipend and giving it to the Levites, which was Aaron's crew from Aaron's lineage, which is Moses hooking up his brother. Some nepotism going on. You see the line there? I know how the Egyptians make sure the priest is always good. And every other culture that came before us did the same thing, because the Babylonians, Sumerians, Akkadians, they all did the same thing. Let me make sure that the priesthood is good, and let me make sure my brother is in charge of the priesthood. That way I know my family is always taken care of, because if you go through this Bible, nepotism is a very strong sentiment. So by giving them all this gold and for the holiest of holies, and people giving gold and silver, gold, silver, and bronze, it ensures that the priesthood is always in a financially stable position, regardless of the people, even though they said, give from your heart, but if you're giving, this is what you're going to have to give. So even though we have all these details about this stuff, and where there could have been so many other lessons that this book could have taught, it's really about nepotism and money. Let's see, what y'all say? What up, Ron and Slaughter and Felipe? I know it's only, oh shit. Well, I'm telling you, like I told y'all before, I got one contact in, so the struggle is real. You just had an epiphany. I think the Ark was designed by IKEA. I would agree. The Ark it does sound like an IKEA thing, man. I remember I was so excited when IKEA came to Atlanta. I went down there and get me some stuff, man. I saw it got 200 pieces. No, this bookshelf shall not be made at 200 pieces. They're building a shrine. Yep, we're outside. Super late. Yep, you are. But it's all right. They idolize and sacrifice rams. It represents the Aries constellation. Same reason they made the golden calf of the bull statue ever. Yep, we're gonna talk about that when we get to that part. When you go up the mountain, and then they come down this golden calf, and he's mad. He ain't mad because of what people normally say he's mad about. He's mad because they were leaving the age of the ram. I mean, age of the bull, and going into the age of Aries. But we're going to talk about that in a different video, sir. Right? Represent Saturn. That's why Merrill Lynch in Manhattan. Yeah, and Hathor. Grand Rising Energy Shift. Why are you here? You're not converting anyone. I'm going to assume that you're talking to Felipe and not talking to me. I haven't quite figured out Felipe. He put a heavy emphasis on you. Well, if the he is that you're talking about is this God Yahweh, then he didn't do nothing to me nor for me because he don't exist. He don't exist as far as I'm concerned. Yahweh is not the all, the creator. So he didn't emphasize nothing with me. See, this is a whole lot of Harold Reed, a whole lot of Mary Fuller, and then a whole lot of every ancestor that came before them from their parents, from them Rosses and them Reeds and the Mitchells and so on and so forth, back into my lineage till you get to where my family's come from. From the Creek Indians to the Dogons of Mali to the Yoruba and of Nigeria. That's where all of this comes from. All of this is that good mixing pot. They've been working on this for a long time. It's been a long time of forethought that we're gonna make this dude. About 100 generations from now, we're gonna make this dude. He gonna be talking. That's where this comes from. That's where this comes from. And they stored all their wisdom and knowledge in the cell, in the DNA, so that all of this is here today. This was planned, but it was planned by my ancestors. Not that I worship my ancestors, not that I even communicate with our ancestors, because I don't do neither one of them. But I'm just saying, I know them because they are in me, and as much as I am in them. And until Yahweh comes walking through this door, then he gonna have to buy a cigar though, in order to stay in here. But until Yahweh walks in them doors, he ain't nothing but some Hebrew propaganda that was created in order to validate a people that had just come out of bondage and was tired of being crushed and decided that no longer shall we worship Baal, but we should now worship Yahweh. And we would get rid of his wife Asherah and make her into a stick, a pole. So until that dude walked through this here door, that's all they are. That's all they are. Little Irish coffee this morning. Oh no, sir. I don't like the Irish coffee. You'll find out I'm one of the cigar smokers who prefers to have a cigar with just a regular coffee. I don't like putting an extra little zinger in there, I have this thing about controlling my mind and ensuring that I maintain control at all times. And don't get me wrong, every now and then I like a little snippet. But I cannot be one of those people who drink all day. What do you think about atheism? I think atheism is a natural progression of life. Should be, at least. We're all born atheists, in truth, because none of us are born with the conception of the all or any type of deity. It is all trained and within us, and something that as we go through our cultures, we learn. No matter what, you could have been born in Saudi Arabia to parents who don't even do anything Muslim, but you're surrounded by Islam. And so you'll naturally have a gravitation towards Islam, right? But we all do have a natural gravitation towards religion. And we all have a natural gravitation towards we have to know the answers, right? So I think atheists are one of those groups of people who says that I don't have enough evidence to support a God. But until I, and now if I ever do, I'm willing to accept it. But if I never get it, I'm good. Because I respect the fact that atheists in general say morality is within me. It is not something I need from the outside. You know, they look internally more so than they look externally. So I respect atheists, actually more than I respect religious people. And that's all religious people. Every version of religious person. You can give me the EFI ancestry people, and there are some of them that I will give less respect to than I would somebody who's atheist. Because even with them, I'm like, okay, you know, when your bias shows, that's when I can't get down with you. I'm very big about being non-biased. Because I've met some EFI people who are black supremacists, for lack of a better term. Gotta get my eyes right. But shifting. There's one thing, though. Everything is information since the beginning of existence. True. And everything is information. It's our interpretation of information that causes the divisions between us. And some information people are just unwilling to accept. You know, as I go through my morning routines, I listen to different podcasts as I'm going. I'm just scrolling through like TikTok or something like that. And I see it. And somebody can make some claims that are completely wrong or misplaced information, or they take information they pull from one epoch of time and try to validate that for everybody today instead of looking at the entirety of it all. There is so much information out there, but can we look at it without having a landing point? Do we always have to invoke our own biases to it? And that can very well mess up information, you know? I don't know if I want to have this argument, but I'm thinking about having the argument of where do black people in America come from, right? Because the irritating part for me of that argument is you can find evidence that support that black people are indigenous to America, but you also have evidence that black people are indigenous to Africa. And then we have evidence of a transatlantic slave trade, and we have evidence of slavery but wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that. We have evidence that the transatlantic slave trade is actually a triangle trade, meaning that they took people from here and sent them to Europe, took people from, and then came down to Africans and brought people Africans over here, that they moved people around, you know, just like they did in India. They took people in India, brought them to Africa and made them slaves in Africa. Why would you do that when you already got Africans in Africa? Well, if you enslave me in my own home country and I run from you, I got plenty of places to hide. But if I look very different from everybody else, I can't hide. You know? Can't hide. But why can't it be both? That's the thing. But those people have the all or none mentality. And it's like, can it just, we know that the slave trade happened, and we know that there were the indigenous people over here were dark brown people. They weren't red, they were dark brown. So why can't it be both? We know that diseases did ravage the people. You know, we got documentation from women of the 5 civilized tribe who said that their husbands died of the diseases brought in from the Caucasian. So they bought a African slave as a husband. We know diseases affected the American people over here because they brought, you know, and I don't go into the black supremacist mentality of they brought the diseases over here because they were nasty. Yes, they did have the time frames in their history where sanitation, is jacked up, right? Black plague, all that kind of stuff. Yes, jacked up. But those things like the Black Plague just like any type of virus, enabled them to build up natural immunities to a lot of this stuff, right? So why didn't the people in the Americas have these immunities? Well, the people in the Americas weren't as connected to each other to build these larger cities, and they had more, or one, and then they had more space so that they didn't have to build these larger cities, but they didn't have the connections. The Incas never met the Hopi. It's even theorized. Well, it's like even the Incas barely met the Aztecs and the Mayans. They barely met them, you know. So there wasn't a lot of interconnection with these people, and they didn't have a horse. They didn't have the horse. The horse had already went extinct in the Americas long before any humans came to America. Okay, it had gone extinct. The horse made travel easier so that people could connect and messages could be passed through. And I don't know if y'all ever been to like where Panama, or you ain't got to go, just look at the Darien Gap. People consistently died trying to get from Colombia to Panama through the Darien Gap because the terrain is so treacherous. That helped separate the Incas from the Mayans and the Aztecs. So even they didn't communicate as much, right? So of course they were less, and so they didn't experience those diseases that they experienced. So when they came over here, they passed those diseases along. What's so hard to accept about that? It's science and logic. It's logical. So, and then if you're killing off the native population with your diseases, you got to go get somebody who sticks out like a sore thumb. So, that part. Let's see what I missed. Oh, it's crazy. I can read Facebook easy, but YouTube, I got wait. Nope. Good people. Oh, what up, Dark Green? How you doing? Combination of all of the above, all of the evidence you mentioned in the plot. Fur lady Erica. The problem is there are some truths in the Bible, and it's enough to keep people, keep people like Felipe attached and confused. Yes, there are some good things in there, but at some point, you graduate and go to university. This is that's one of my biggest things. If you study up on Lao Tzu says that once you understand the way, you no longer need Buddhism. That's why Taoism, the Taoist philosophy comes out of Buddhism. Buddhism comes out of Hinduism. But he was saying that once, like Hinduism was like Christianity, where you got these rituals and you got these deities and you got this, fear, and you got all this ritualistic stuff. Buddhism started saying, no, you got to get into yourself, understand self. But then Taoism said, after you understand self, understanding your connection of self to the way, to the universe, to the natural flow and frequency of the universe. Right. So as it's a whole graduation process. So like Hinduism is elementary. I mean, Hinduism is like, is grade school. Buddhism is college, is high school, and then Taoism is university, right? Christianity is still like high school, Judaism was grade school, and then Christianity is high school, and then some people might say, well, then Islam is college. No, Islam is just a high school on the other side of town. It's just a high school on the other side of town, but it's also that high school that still kind of like got some grade schools. Like where I grew up, we went 9 through 12, but then like a lot of people in New York, they went like 6 through 12. Like Islam is like that school that goes 6 through 12. You still got some grade schoolers in there with the high schoolers, because you still got a lot of that ritualistic outside entity. There is not much of the kingdom inside of you kind of deal going on. But yeah, it does have some good things in it, but not enough good things to make me say that this is the The word of the Creator, no. The word of the Creator is right outside there in nature. I hate that my people live in the past. Yes, we are kings and queens, but that's no longer the case. We have to be honest about our conditions so we can do better. Yes, indeed, we do. And here's the thing. I understand that when most people say we are kings and queens, they mean that we have had nations like the Songhai Empire, the Mali Empire, the Home Empire, the Zulu empires, and we have had kings and queens. And then they said we descend from kings and queens. Everybody in the world can claim that because everybody in the world has had some type of monarchy. But I personally, individually, do not descend from somebody who was of some royal lineage, you know. I don't. And that doesn't make me any less than anybody else, nor my ancestors any less than anybody else. So that's why y'all don't hear me going around calling everybody king and queen. So I'm like, and I get it. You can be a king and queen of your own empire, of yourself. I get it. It's just overused. And people don't understand it. You're a queen, where's your queendom? You're a king, where's your kingdom? You can't be a king and be broke. You can't be a queen and be broke. I'm not saying you have to have big mansions and all that sort of thing, but I'm just talking about being broke. Being broke. Not that you can't have good times and bad times. You can have good times and bad times. I go through good times and bad times. But you got to have something about yourself. You don't have control of your emotions. You ain't a king. You ain't a queen. No. You gotta have grand understanding of self in order to be a king or a queen. I saw this girl. It's this young lady. She made a comment on my Facebook page, and she calling herself a queen. You know, she anti my video, but she calls herself a queen. A queen. I'm a queen. So I go to her page. A queen does not take the B word and change it into an acronym, trying to make it something good. No. Nor does a king try to take. I'm my best friend back in high school. I came back from Desert Storm, and I told him, I said, dude, you know I hate that N word. Oh, no. See, Tupac said it means never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. I was like, you stupid. Even to this day, that is a joke. Like, that's one of those jokes that you're like, oh, man, you know, I was just dumb back then, young and stupid. But people still walk around thinking stupid stuff like that. You can't turn the B word into an acronym that's great. You can't turn the N word to anything but the negativity that it is. The kingdom of heaven is within. Yeah. The kingdom is inside you and outside of you. It's all around you. Right? You are part of it. You've never not been separated from it. You just can't, most people just can't recognize it. That's why I do like the Gospel of Thomas. It tells you that it's at hand and it's inside of you and outside. But the priests have blinded you, that they are like dogs that sit in front of the feeding lessons. They refuse to eat, and yet they refuse to allow the cattle to eat. All right. The history of sex is where I saw flaws in religion. What is acceptable changes over time is based on the culture of its time. It sure does. Right, calling everybody king or queen diminishes. Malcolm X was a king. Yes, he became one. Malcolm X became a king. I will grant you that one. And yeah, the history of sex is very interesting. If you know anything about me, you know that sex is one of my favorite conversations. Sex is one of my favorite. Y'all may not know that because I don't talk about it as much on here, but sex is one of my favorite conversations. It's a grand conversation that we have in here. And yeah, the history of sex changes. Like women were literally sold as wives for sex slaves, or and I mean that's all that a woman was back in the day. Her value was her chastity and the ability to produce sons, and to know that that son is from that man, so that his inheritance will go to the right person, right? Women were sold as handmaids, and those handmaids were given to their husbands, like Hagar and Bilhah. They were given to their husbands in order to produce children. Those children were claimed by the primary wives. And then polygamy was okay. But then as Roman culture got rid of polygamy, now polygamy is a bad thing. But now polygamy is becoming a good thing again. The Mormons got rid of polygamy. Well, first the Mormons had polygamy and marrying little kids because Joseph Smith knew he was about to get in trouble with the then American government. And then when they wanted to apply, and then while it was a Utah territory, nobody cared that they had polygamy. But as soon as they wanted to become a state, they had to get rid of polygamy, and so they did in order to become a U.S. state. So sexual behaviors changed based on the culture, and then they changed the religion to fit the culture, and not the other way around. I hate the N word with a passion. Yeah, it does cheapen us. And here's the thing: if you come into this lounge, everybody who comes to this lounge, they know one thing they do know. If you cannot use the N word, you can't use the B word, you can't use the W word. I have to tell some of them that the H word because they don't understand that the word hope is actually WHORE. They think it's HOE. Like, no, that's the garden tool. That's not the actual word. My crowd is like 30% women, for one. So I just wouldn't do it. I have daughters. I have a mother. So no, we're not going to use those words, the B word or the W word, because I'm not going to be disrespectful to women. And then my customers are 30% women. And they ain't not going to disrespect them. And then the N word, I just don't like it. I wouldn't care if people said, I ain't going over there. He's too much of a word police. Dude, 3 words. Ain't my problem. Because people know I shut this moment down and move somewhere else. Definitely don't use it if you can't spell it. You know what? I can't get down with you with that one no more, Deborah. I used to be able to get down with you with that one. I'm going to tell you why. Because spell check and auto type has messed up my ability to spell. I can't spell nothing no more. I used to be great at spelling. I mean, I was a contender in North Georgia spelling bee back in the day. But I done got lazy with it. Spell check that when it automatically throw the word up there for you, I'm sorry. I'm horrible. But I understand what you're saying, and you do have a good point there. Did you watch Cleopatra? I did not. I don't give away my sexual energy. It's sacred, and it should be. I like my cigars with weed in it. No, I can't stand weed. Mm-mm. But no, you shouldn't just give away your sexual energy. It's a sacred energy. But there's nothing wrong. Okay, you shouldn't give away your sexual energy, but every time you have sex with somebody, it's not you giving away your energy. If there's no emotions involved with having sex, then no energy, no emotional sexual energy is transferred, just the physical energy itself. So, if you can't spell whore instead of hoe, I got you. But yeah, there is a difference in the understanding of Tantra. You can give away physical energy, but that doesn't create the connections. But emotional energy, emotional sexual energy is when the connections are given away. That's the real energy that you have to protect. What we got? I read that Niger was taken from the Ethiopian. Ethiopia began to use it for blacks, like the Latin word negro. Negro. Later, supremacists bastardized it to the N word. Yeah, that's black people trying to make that word so that they can keep using it. It's trying to take something that was negative and make it into good. Yes, they were originally referred to by the Dutch really as negro to mean black. But then, yeah, the white supremacists turned it into the derogatory. But either way, if you call me, if I went to, well, I've been in some of those countries and they say, Negro, that, you're a Negro man, then I'm fine with that because they're just saying that, based on how we view race today, I'm a black man, even though we all brown, I'm a black man. So I understood it in that way. But when the white supremacists you turned it into that word, it has always had that connotation to it. So that is an individual word by itself that I refuse to use towards any other person. But that's them. They just want to take that word and try to use it. Why try to take something negative and make it into something that you want to use? Use these words, but within my personal spaces. Yeah, I don't use them at all. If I call somebody a B, you best believe you not took me to a level of anger and a loss of my bearing because hell is coming with me. Exactly. Universities will include actual power and mysticism alchemy. It sure would. Got to get there. Got to get to the universal level. Technology, yep, it's making me stupid. Actually, technology is making me very, very smart, making me smarter, more wisdom. But my ability is, I'm losing some good things. Cleopatra dead. Oh, now that's nice, Deborah. Cleopatra was a sellout. Was she though? Hold on, we're gonna get into that one. Cleopatra was a sellout. But was Cleopatra a sellout? Because Cleopatra, don't get mad at me. I don't claim Cleopatra as down for the people. She was a Hellenistic Ptolemaic, mixed blood. She was half Greek, half Kemet. And not really even Kemet, she was more Syrian. So she was Syrian, I think she was Syrian and Greek. And she grew up, dealing with her Greek family. So when she went down to take over in Egypt, of course she gonna get with Caesar and then flip on Caesar with Mark Antony, in which they tried to create the Roman Empire down in Egypt and fight against Rome. Yeah, she was like most royalty. They just concerned about making sure they maintain their power and keep whoever the low group is, which would have been the Cushites for them, keep them at bay, keep them down. So I can't say she was a sellout because she was never for us. She was never for our ancestors. So I can't call her a sellout because she wasn't for us anyway from the giddy up. Oh. God dang it. Sorry, the other mic went out. What was the last thing you heard me say? Did y'all miss my whole diatribe Facebook on Cleo? I'm gonna say it a little bit shorter this time. But Cleopatra, I can't say that Cleopatra was a sellout simply because Cleopatra was born of Greek and I believe Syrian bloodline. She was born into the Ptolemaic royal family. She was never down for the Cushite people or the Kemetic people in the beginning. She was always down for the Greeks. So, and then when the Greeks were conquered by the Romans, she was down with Caesar and Antony because she was trying to maintain her power base. She never cared about the people from day one. So she didn't sell us out. She was sticking with her family and her family values. So I've never included her as a queen that was for us. It's kind of like, what's the vice president name? What's that chick name? What's her name? I always want to call her Condoleezza Rice, but I know she's not Condoleezza Rice. That just shows you how much respect I do not have for this lady. because I call her somebody else. What is the vice president's name? Y'all know that lady name. Yeah, she killed her family because Kamala Harris. Condoleezza Rice, Kamala Harris. Y'all see why I messed that up? Okay, makes sense. Right. Kamala Harris only was down for black people when she wanted to be a Delta. That's it. So that she can secure that Delta vote and black women whenever she got to the position that she's in today and for whatever she's trying to do. But she's always been down for her Indian family and white people. That's it. She ain't selling us out because she ain't never been down with us. Ever. And she's not one of us. Ever. That's why she went to Africa and acted a fool. Because she ain't never been down with black people from day one. She just used the deltas just so that she can have that to stand on whenever she did deal with black people. Oh, she's an AKA? Okay. AKA, same thing. But that's the only thing she did. That's the only time she was down for black people. Other than that, no. That woman has straight up been about her Indian family because of her mama and white people. That's it. So to me, sellouts are people who were down for us and then they flip the script on us. If you ain't never been down for us, you can't sell me out because you showed yourself early. We're going to disagree on that one? Okay, that's good. You know what? I love that. I love when people disagree with me because it gives me an opportunity to possibly learn something. Maybe Kamala isn't a sellout. I don't know. Maybe Cleopatra did sell us out. I don't know, but I don't see anything in Cleopatra history where she was down for us, down for our ancestors. I don't see anything in Kamala's history where she was down for us. So, and I understand. I could just be. We could have a difference of the terminology and the way we look at what a sellout is. Be down for me and then turn your back on me, you're a sellout. You ain't never been down for me. You. What do we call it? In order to, I do allow people to get away with saying something like, "Then that joker is a pan," was a punk ass, or Pav, you punk ass beat. I'll let you get away with that one. You know. But that's what they are to me when they already show who they are early on and they're never down for me. So I never trust those people and I never account for those people as being one of us. You know. So, yeah. A Norwegian told me Kamala means danger in her language, in his language. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Now, I know I probably shouldn't, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this one by one person, but to me, Kamala's a Jenny. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all what a Jenny is. You have to go figure it out for yourself. But she's a Jenny. Nowadays, we're too diverse to be told those kinds of terms to apply. Sounds like woman bashing. I'm not bashing women. Hold on now. How am I bashing women if you brought Cleopatra up? You brought it up. I wasn't even talking about Cleopatra. You brought it up. Kamala was a wrestler. Hey, I like that dude. You know he lives here in that. I don't know if he's still alive, but he lives here in Atlanta. Got a restaurant over in West End. I used to be terrified of him when I was a kid and go to the Civic Center and that joke would come in. No, I don't think I'm bashing women at all. I don't bash women. I'll bash a person. But women in general, I don't like Kamala. I don't like Joe either. I didn't like Trump. I don't like Hillary. I was with Obama. I ain't like Clinton. I did like McCain, but I couldn't stand whatever that lady that he had with him, because she just, and it's not because she was a woman, it's because she was stupid. I know international relationship because I can see Russia out my front window or something like that. What? No. I actually like the young Bush, and I like senior Bush. I like the two Bushes. I did like them. I hated that one of them, the younger one, was controlled by his party. I forgot who was controlling that joker. But understand, my likes and dislikes of some of these people was based also on, Palin. My likes and dislikes of some of these people was based on the fact that I was in the Marine Corps during some of them. There is absolutely no way I would ever like Clinton while I was in the Marine Corps, because I saw more of my Marines go into poverty and have to get food stamps and welfare while they was in the Marine Corps. How do you expect somebody to go fight for you when they worried about their family at home with no food, on food stamps and stuff? And you giving us inflation was 5%, and you give us a 1.9% pay raise, and you originally we get a 2.2% pay raise, but the president originally wanted us to get a 0.9% pay raise. And I'm like, dude, we are already 13% behind the poverty line. So no, I couldn't stand Clinton. So my likes and dislikes is based on each individual person. Your race, your color, the level of your brownness doesn't really matter to me when it comes to my personal thoughts on that. Now, that doesn't mean I ignore the fact that we have racial issues and that we have to draw lines oftentimes based on that. Yes, we do. And yes, I do. But my consciousness is of a different level. So if we just talking consciousness, we all one. We all need to come into that understanding of we're all one. But we talking about how we got to live in this world. I'm on the side of the black man, and the black woman, and the black family, and the black community. And even though I use the term black, I know we all just brown. But I am going to stop using that term white. I'm not going to give them that credit anymore. Somebody posted something, sent something to me, and I was just like, you know what? You're right. Everybody is brown. It's just different levels of brown. Right. And since we're all brown, we've created these lines. We've created these separations. So, and I'm not in white. Nah, man, you trying to say you're pure, you're clean, you're without blemish? Oh, hell no, I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that at all. You in Boule capital? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, I know what the Boule is. Oh, thank you, Deborah. But I don't know what you mean by you in Boule capital. Explain that one. Let's see here. Back then, people killed each other for the throne. That's why Elizabeth never made her husband king. Or, of course not. She ain't gonna make her son king. She wasn't gonna make her husband. If she made her husband king, then it would have messed up her son's abilities. You got to keep that stuff in the family bloodline. Copper color brothers and sisters. Now I have right never been Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountains. Now people say that there are no true black people. I'm sorry, some of y'all ain't ever been to Sudan, or you ain't never been to Senegal. Because I saw some people, and they gonna say, "Oh no, they're still not black. They just the deepest, darkest brown." Well, would not the deepest, darkest brown be black? Black is the total of all colors. Total of all colors. Oh, I'm in the Boule capital of Atlanta. I am in it yet. my jury's still out on the whole boule thing. You know, people, we love to point to organizations or groups and say that they're evil or something's wrong with them without having full knowledge of it. So I have never studied the whole boule thing because it's just another organization or group of people that we try to separate ourselves from. And class warfare is just as bad as race warfare. Uh, if I was, let's say I was a part of the boule, why would I come and try to convince you that I'm down for you if all you're going to do is throw negative things at me because I'm part of the boule? You understand what I'm saying? So I take each individual on their own merit, because you may have some boule people who are, you know, negative towards black people, towards, you know, towards brown people. I got to work on that. Towards black people. No, I'm still going to use the term black people because there are some people that come up with this black. You know, my grandfather was not brown at all. My grandfather was black. Right. But I take each individual. You're gonna have some jacked up people in every organization. You know, I'm a Mason, and there are many people who, if they found out that I'm a Mason, they're like, "Oh, he with the Masons, he with the secret society. They worshiping goat heads and pissing on, you know, the cross, and they doing witchcraft. They part of the Illuminati and all this kind of stuff." Are there some good Masons? Yes. Almost most of the Masons I've ever dealt with are good Masons. Are there some bad Masons? Yes. There's some bad Masons out there too. Were Masons involved with the slave trade? Yes. So was everybody else. Were Jews involved with the slave trade? Yes. Were Africans involved with the slave trade? Yes. Were Native Indigenous Americans involved with the slave trade? Yes. Hell, they were the last ones to give up slaves. You know, to hell with Juneteenth. There were still slaves in America. There were still black people being held as slaves in America when Juneteenth happened. So no, there was still some. There was good people, bad people, people involved in everything of every race all the time, in every organization. Are there some jacked up people in the Bilderbergs? Yes. Are there probably some good people in the Bilderberg? Yeah. Same thing with the 13 family. Same thing with the Rothschild. Same thing with everybody. I'm not mad at Mayor Rothschild for playing both sides of the fence. The man was trying to make money and take care of his family and do what he thought was right. Do you know every evil person always thinks that they're doing right? Well, I ain't gonna say every, but most evil people think that who we call evil thought that what they were doing at the time was the right thing to do. You know. But I'm not going that the whole organization is hell bent on evil. Right. For instance, there's a Masonic dude that I deal with here. He's in charge of the Demolay chapter. That's north of me. The Demolay chapter is for young men who are not of age to become Masons. But out of his Demolay chapter, do you know that they ran out of recipients to receive the scholarships that they had for this year? And when I talked to some of the black families in this area, they didn't want to get involved with it because they was like, "Oh, that's Masonic." I was like, "Oh, yeah, they're Masonic, but your kid could get a scholarship." And you know, I asked them, "What do you know about Masons?" What I heard. Are you a Mason? No. Are you an Eastern Star? No. Okay, so you're just going on what you heard, and you're going to deny your child an opportunity to get a scholarship to go to college simply based on what I heard. Did you get another scholarship from somebody else? Well, no, I didn't get another scholarship from somebody else. But here's a scholarship that you can go get. And they're at a point where last time I talked to them, you didn't even have to be a part of the Demolay because they just want to finish giving out this money for this year. It's the evil empire at work, I guess. Let me give out money so that some of these black kids can go to college. He died. Ooh, y'all just been typing. I've just been missing. He died as soon as they chose her as a candidate. Who died? We agree there. Thank you for the donation. Check it out. And I hate Facebook keeps starting over on the scroll. Okay, if I miss on Facebook, I'm just missing. I was asking to join an organization, but they said that I needed to believe in a higher power. They never gave their name. I mean, Masons just say that you have to believe in a higher power. It doesn't denote that it has to be Christian, except for the PHA does. They kind of force you to be Christian. Some of them. Prince Hall affiliates say that some of them, every one of those I've met always say you got to be Christian, which is why I never would join those. But most Masonic organizations, you just have to believe in there is a higher power. If you don't believe that, then yeah, you can't become one. Oh, Kamala was a wrestler that died in 2020. Kamala died. The Ugandan died. Giant died. Oh man, he had a nice little soul food restaurant too in West End. I was gang stalked by them for 12 years ago, so my opinion of them is not good. Yeah, they shouldn't. And here's the thing about Masons: they are not supposed to stalk you like that. If you don't want to be one, then okay, that's good. But they might have liked you because the motto of Masonry is making good men better. So not making a bad man good, but making good men better. People don't know the ancestry. Nope, they sure don't. And it's very difficult. But we should all strive to know as much about our ancestry as we possibly can. Still not black, extremely close to not black. I'm gonna disagree with you there, bro. Because I literally have seen where you put a black crayon up against some Sudanese people or some Senegalese people, and they match. They match. I ain't never put a white crayon up to any white person and they match, but I put a black crayon up there. And what's so wrong with that, though? Just because the word black does have some negative connotations when it's referring to the fear that people had at night, because that's when animals that they couldn't see and more attacks and things happen at night. But black also has a good connotation when it comes to money. If you're in the red, you're broke. If you're in the black, you're profitable. So what's so hard for me, it's not hard to separate the definition of a word when it's pertaining to certain things. Because if black was always negative, then it would not be used as terms for finances. Weird doctrine. Talking about my doctrine? Yep, my doctrine is weird. My doctrine is different than and that's one of the things that, I don't know if you're just now finding me, Bizzle. No, you've been here before, you Bizzle. I look for everybody to determine what their own doctrine is. I don't want one of the things that's kept me from starting any type of formal organization, because I don't want people to just follow every goddamn thing that I say and that I believe and that now if I can give you something that's hard proven fact, hey, you need to follow that. But when it's something there's room for change and room for error, and you see that there may be an error, man, do your own thing. Figure out what works for you. It'd be called the church of doing it your own way. The church of your individual path, because it is your individual path. It is not for you to, like, I love that Deborah and I disagreed on the subject matter earlier, because that just shows me she thinks independently for herself. Good. That's what I want everybody to do. Think independently for yourself. Work all night, gotta go sleep. Hey, bro, I appreciate you being here, Ron. Get some rest, bro. That's the brainwashing of the meanings programmed at the lower self. I'm the realist. I try as close to be with the facts as possible, if I can. And that's all. I'm with you on that one. I try to give me the facts, and I try to get as many facts as I possibly can, because the more facts you have, the better you can have an understanding. The more better understanding, the more you can walk in the wisdom of a thing. The Romans call that the trivium, but it is their methodology of critical thinking. And then after you graduate from the ability of critical thinking, that's when you can start understanding things like geometry and math, astronomy, and the liberal arts. When you can understand the liberal arts, you start recognizing that, you start understanding the Kabbalion, to which we'll be doing on Thursday. We'll continue with our teachings of the Kabbalion. But yeah, what do you say? That's the brainwashing of the meaning program at the lower self. I think when the first Europeans started referring to the African as Negro, I don't think they were thinking about it as far as night. They weren't combining it with the terrors of night, and all that kind of stuff. I think they were looking at a people and saying they are really, really dark. And you got to think, didn't have as much blood mixing in southern and sub-Saharan Africa as you did in northern Africa, which is why one of the ways they could distinguish between the Arabs and the sub-Saharan, because the Arabs had all that Greek and Portuguese and that Roman blood and British blood all mixed up in them. So yeah, they were more brown, lighter browns. But sub-Saharan, them jokers was dark. India used to be dark until the British and all these other people started going to India. That's why they have their class issues right now. Because of that. West Coast Native Americans used to be the same darkness as East Coast Native Americans. But then when the Polynesians and the Chinese that had become lighter came over into the Americas before Columbus and all of them, well before them, the West Coast and the Central American and South Americans, they lightened up. So that's why when the Europeans first came across, they found dark-skinned people all across the East Coast, all in the Caribbean, all on the East Coast of South America. Central America, a little bit different. They have more mixture. The land is not as wide, so they're able to transgress that land a lot easier. And mind you, they're doing all of that. The people in America did this stuff on foot and canoes, and sometimes, depending on if there was a river flow and things like that, as to how far and their ability to travel. Like I said, go look at the Darien Gap and watch a couple videos on it. Even today, with all the technology we have today, they cannot build a road that goes through the Darien Gap. Can't build a road. Because of all the rain and mudslides and the mountains and, the jungle grows so fast and all this kind of stuff. And plants can grow fast as hell, y'all. My lady, in all her wonderful craziness, there was a sweet potato that was in the pantry that we forgot was there. It had grown some little spuds, some little tentacles, rather, or whatever you call them, roots. She decided she's going to put it in a jar. She put it in a jar, put it in the window. I swear to Bob, that thing grows. Them stems have grown inches, and they'll grow 2-3 inches every day. So I can imagine that the wilderness, the jungle, and the Darien Strait, you can't maintain that. You can't maintain it. That's why Colombia had lost in their battle back in the day in the 1800s to conquer Panama. I'm that kind of nerd. I just research all kinds of stupid stuff. But yeah, so dark-skinned people. But even dark-skinned people from Africa had came over and they were trading with the people in the Caribbean and in people in Mexico. That's why Cortez's and Columbus, either his brother or his cousin in their journals wrote that when they got there, they saw tall, and they described them as tall black people. And the gold-tipped spears have proven that they did trade with the Guyanese people. So the Guyanese people from Ghana, had already been to the Americas long before a white man ever came. Saudi Arabia and the Levant was dark before other populations migrated into the areas and later invasion from wars. Those areas were first populated by migrating Africans. Yeah, exactly, they were. They most certainly were populated by, and even Greece was dark-skinned people at first as well. But then the Greek people, as they started intermingling with modern day, modern day what we call Germany, as they start intermingling with the Germans and Austrians and all so on and so forth, they became lighter. But they still got this kind of brownish olive tint to them, to a lot of the Greek people. And then But then as the Greeks started coming over and they were trading, because you got to think about it, Europe don't produce. What does Europe produce? The land of Europe don't produce nothing. Once the population of Europe got so big that the crops that it produced wasn't enough to feed the people, they had to go somewhere else. So they started crossing the Aegean. They started crossing, the Caspian, and they start crossing the Mediterranean. They said, "Oh, look, there's people over there, and they got stuff that we don't have. Let's go trade with them." And then they said, "Well, you know what? Why are we trading? Let's go take their shit." And so you start getting it. But we're talking about thousands of years of trade, thousands of years of, empires rising and empires falling. So when you got thousands of years of that going on and intermingling, it's going to change the general color of the people. The Greeks, when they conquered modern day India, understand that one of the process of Hellenization is to say that, all right, Lieutenant Johnson, you see old Patel right there, you're gonna marry Patel and y'all gonna have a baby. That was part of their thing, and they did it because in their mindset, if they conquer you and they hold you for a generation, the son is not going to revolt against his father. The grandchild is not going to revolt against the grandfather, and that they will grow up and they will be able to maintain their standing, their stronghold on these people, because it's all family. Problem is they began caste systems. The lighter you were, the more fluent you were. So you still had this situation where the darker skinned people are still going to wind up revolting at some point, because that class division is going to keep growing and growing and growing to a point where it's a powder keg, and all of a sudden now the people are going to revolt. You can only beat the people down so long. Put the potato in the soil and you will get many more potatoes. Yeah, she was, I think this is just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I think the reason why she hasn't put it in the soil yet is because she is so fascinated every day walking into the house and seeing this damn thing, the branches of it growing so long. I think she's so fascinated by that she hasn't taken it out and put it in the soil yet. We were just talking yesterday. I was like, by the time we get to Puerto Rico, you're gonna be a green thumb. That green thumb gonna be, she's gonna lose her mind. Be able to plant in that type, and be able to plant in Puerto Rico. Because I know I'm gonna plant. I'm planting some mango trees, even though I really don't eat mangoes that much. I'm gonna plant some orange trees. I don't know if the weather is conducive for grapes, but I'm gonna grow me some grapes anyway, and some sunflowers. But yeah, she knows she's supposed to put it in the ground. She's supposed to then put that thing in the ground. But yeah, even the first, you look at China, Japan, they still got, even at the time frame of pictures of photography, they still had black populations. And then you had that Chinese geneticist who was trying his damnedest to prove that Chinese people were indigenous of China, that they didn't migrate from anywhere. And all he proved was that Chinese people came from East Africa. And I give him credit because he had a predetermined landing point, but when the facts showed him otherwise, he just accepted the facts. That I just knew that whatever if they discovered that it was other than indigenous China, they were gonna be like, oh hell no. Now I do think if they would discover that it was indigenous, that they migrated from Japan, I think they've been to hell now, because Japan and China has had a rough history. If Norway can grow grapes, you can grow grapes in Puerto Rico. Well, here's the thing about that. If you notice, grapes tend to grow better in climates that change. Like grapes grow great in Washington State. If you go in Italy, like south of Naples, you really don't, the best grapes are grown from Naples up, up in France. And especially if you can grow them on the side of a mountain, and I think you got to be. I think the best situation is the south side of a mountain. South side of the mountain. because as the sun goes from east to south to west, so that it get more sunlight. But Puerto Rico might be too warm for grapes. Now, why in Georgia we grow muscadines, but I was able to grow grapes in Florida. When I lived in Florida, I was able to grow grapes, and I grew grapes here in Georgia. The grapes in Georgia tasted better than the grapes in Florida. They couldn't grow grapes until recently because of climate change. Yeah. Everything has its perfect conditions. Well, hell, I'm gonna grow them anyway. I don't care. I'm just growing them because I like it. Now, if I was gonna stay in Georgia, I would have my land and I'll grow some grapes and all that kind of stuff, and I would have like one sheep, or one goat rather, 1 or 2 goats, so I can get tax benefits of being a farm. Have me a little herd of goats. Let them graze to keep the grass down. Herd of goats. For tax purposes. Anyway, yeah. So I know we not got like way off track. way off track. I read that fruits is sweeter when water isn't too abundant. I'm gonna have to look into that. Because I'm gonna have time. I'm gonna have time to spend with y'all. I'm gonna have time to be out in the yard, in my greenhouse. What? Then I'm gonna go to Zimbabwe and grow some of these. Grow cigar tobacco. Because you realize the landmass of Africa is so north and south and so huge that it pretty much has every climate. We got desert, we got jungles, jungles, rainforest, pretty much the same damn thing. Jungles, rainforest, you got snow, you got summer, winter, fall, spring, you got depending on where you are, you got everything. So you got it all. Because they push their racism with the map and making Africa smaller, making Africa and South America smaller than it really is. Those continents are actually freaking huge. But yeah, so what the hell are we talking about? I know we talked about color. What else y'all got? Y'all know at this point the forum is about y'all. Hold on, let me unlock this door just in case somebody show up. It's all about y'all now. Because this part of Exodus is boring as hell. And next week, that part of Exodus is still talking about how to design everything and how to set everything up and all this kind of stuff. I will give y'all a clue. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about slavery in the Bible. We'll talk about slavery. And just so that we have more foolishness, I am going to cast that live also onto TikTok. Because some of the craziness I've heard on TikTok yesterday with people talking about slavery, I was like, oh my God, it might be a combination. Slavery in the Bible as well as are Black people indigenous or the slave trade. Did never happen. Or didn't happen to the degree that people say it happened. So those are going to be discussing that. We're going to have that conversation tomorrow. So don't start talking about it right now. Don't. If you're typing it right now, stop typing it. We're going to hold your thought process to tomorrow. But I do want you guys to, if there are certain subject matters that you want to discuss, continue to send me those. Like if you saw yesterday, I did videos based on what people had, most of them based on what people had sent me. The one about Africa, that one was something that, because I watch African news more than I watch American news, because long-term plan is not America. My long-term plan is to live in Africa. To take advantage of the opportunities there. And I recognize that in order for Black people to truly have any power in this country, we are going to have to be in support and connect with Caribbean and African countries that will become dominant in the next 50 years. If we don't connect, if we allow their connections to only be with Russia, to only be with China, to only be within themselves, then Black Americans are going to find themselves in 50 years, you're going to be in the same situation, bitching and whining. So to me, it's like, I don't care if we're indigenous or not. I really don't. Because for all those people who claim it, you know what, let me not get into it, but I don't care. What I care about is, where are we going? Where are we going? And what is the landscape that we're dealing with now? Do you really think the Americans, the white American establishment, the Caucasian American establishment gives two rats' asses if you claim to be indigenous or you claim to be from African descent? They don't care. All they see is a brown person. That's all they see is a brown person. That's all the cops see. That's all the politicians see. That's all the companies see. They don't see nothing else beyond that. So, no. We allowing ourselves to be separated by that. And if we don't get our shit together and recognize what's going on in Africa and the Caribbean, South American, they really ain't got there yet. But if we don't recognize what's going on there, all of us trying to, I'm going to go to Belize and I'm going to go to, what's that damn other place in Central America? Everybody, all these folks trying to retire in, is Belize and Costa Rica. I got to go to Belize and Costa Rica. Belize and Costa Rica is not going to help being there unless you just want to be out of the game. It is not going to help. It's not going to help build financial equality in America and financial equality in Africa so that we can have financial equality around the world. Yeah, that's the big scope of it. In order to have financial equality around the world, Africa, the Black people in Africa and the Black people in America have got to build financial equality to get human equality. Protesting ain't gonna do shit. Voting ain't gonna do shit. St. Lucia, you was born in St. Lucia? All right. See, the St. Lucia is another place that you can go and retire and you can just chill and not be seen. Like, St. Lucia is just chill. It is. It's just chill. Not, you don't have to deal with so many tourists. It just chill. You know, that's just want to live the rest of my life. Don't even want to be bothered with nobody and just do my thing, be a part of the local community. But I did like in St. Thomas, man, I came out on my little scooter, you know, a little and I was on the wrong side of the road. And when the police pulled up, he didn't, this black man, let me get him. He turned his lights on, stuck his hand out the window. He was like, hey, stupid American, get over. I know you're a tourist. Get on the left side of the road. You're right on the wrong side of the road. And I got over and I just went on by my business. We know the African trade where, well, we do. I'm very big about us doing business in Africa. That's why I do videos concerning that. The thing about it is that some of our best and brightest have to go over there and establish businesses. Not go over there and look for a job, but go over there and establish businesses. And some of the businesses you can establish are things that you wouldn't even think would make you into a millionaire. And once you become that millionaire or you start making some money, then you start, getting involved in larger infrastructure projects, you open the gateway for other people. We have to do it like how the Chinese did the Anti-Chinese Immigration Act, where America said that Chinese people, if you leave America and you don't have a job, you can't come back. Or you can't come into America if you're Chinese unless you have a job. So what the Chinese people started doing, especially in San Francisco in that area, was to say that, okay, I open up a dry cleaners, and my grandmother, Ling Tong Sing, she is my employee, and I need to bring her over. And they brought her over. That's how they got her in. So she came over. She had a job. We need to do something similar, except for they did get into a little debt slavery going on, but we need to be able to do the same thing. You go over to, say, Uganda, you open up a chicken farm, right? You got a chicken farm, it's growing, you're making all kind of money, or you start to do like solar installations, which is not costly to get started, or transportation, something like that. That one gonna cost you a little bit more, but there are businesses you can start. You get over there, and then you start bringing other people in, all right? Those who are not business owners. Everybody's not a business owner. Everybody can't be a business owner, but you start bringing in other Americans who can do the job, and then they establish themselves there. They're making more money. They're living a better life. And then we start trading. You get involved with exporting products out of Africa into America, and get involved with exporting products in from America into Africa. Then that's how we start trading with each other. And then we deal with our own kind. Like, you got a black person who's making a product, a good product. Let me be clear, a good product in America. You ship it to Africa, right? And then let that product become part of what they do. Like, I thought that, what's his name? What's the dumb boy? I'm glad people don't say I look like that. He looks like me anymore. But what's that dumb boy? Lost all that money because he said something against the Jewish people. Kanye West. At the top of his game, Kanye West should have been thinking like Marbury. Marbury went to China, and he's the Michael Jordan of China. They got statues of that fool in China. Why didn't, before he said what he said, if he had went to a country like Nigeria, which has a huge consumer population, we talking hundreds of millions of people, establish your brand there. They got money transfers. Money's the same, no matter. Does it matter if you make 10 million in America or 10 million in Nigeria? It's 10 million. Where you live determines how far that 10 million goes. Where you spend it determines how far that 10 million goes. But doesn't matter, 10 million is still 10 million. If I was creating a product, a shoe, a shirt, a clothing, a drink, or whatever, I want to get into that Nigerian market. That's a huge population. The way Rwanda is growing, I want to get into that Rwandan market. Right? So we have to stop thinking America is the only market. I remember, Craig David, when he first came out as a musical artist. I don't know if y'all know who Craig David is, but when Craig David came out, I remember first seeing him doing club dates in Europe back in the 90s, right? When I was stationed in Germany. And he came to America. He had his one CD. It blew up. But do you know he made way more money in Europe than he ever made in America? America's not the only place you can make money. Davido and all the Afrobeats guys, they was making money over there well before they started making money over here. It can be done. And how would the U.S. treat it? Initially, they ain't gonna pay you no attention. But as it start growing, they'll start paying attention. But by that time, you can afford the good lawyers, and you can fight the American system. Especially if we're doing it strategically. Zodiac signs in the Bible. I don't know a lot about zodiacs. I did my birth chart. I don't know a lot about zodiacs. Zimbabwe is getting destroyed by weather and climate recently. Yeah, it's going to happen. That's the hardest thing about farming. You are a victim to the weather. Some years you can have 5 great years and then have 2 horrible years. So the weather is your thing, but that's part of the deal. But if I got 5 good years, you don't spend all your money. Yep. People out there stuck on the U.S. being the best place to live, and they really need to get out. The majority of the Bible is allegorical and personification of zodiacs and star constellations. There is a lot of that in the Bible, especially with things like Jesus saying, "Whose house shall we go into? Find a man pouring a pitcher of water." Men didn't carry water. He was talking about Aquarius. Jesus represents Pisces, the age of Pisces. So there is a lot of zodiacs within it. Kanye is having a mental problem as a result of MK Ultra conditioning. I can't say that one. I think, to me, Kanye lost his damn mind when his mama passed away. I think his mother was his foundation, and when she passed away, because you look at him, he was fine until after his mother passed. His mother passed away, and I don't know if it's the influences. I don't know if it is MK Ultra, but it is at that point that he started, really being a nut job. Oh, why is this man coming over here? The universe is constantly expanding. So astrology is like the Bible's faith, and that is one of my things about astrology. Is that I do agree that certain energies of like the moon and stars and radiation does have an effect on our bodies, because our bodies is primarily water. And if you look at Matsumoto's study, water is affected by frequencies. So the different frequencies that we are receiving now, the thing about it is that those frequencies will change because the universe is expanding and the galaxies are moving around. You're going to get different experiences from these energies as time goes on. So it's not something that's set. What's true today may not be true 5,000 years from now. Just like what was true 5,000 years ago, it's not true today, because stars and the moon and everything are in different positions. The moon is moving away from the Earth. I think it's like 3 centimeters per year. So its gravitational pull on the Earth is diminishing. So those things consistently and continuously change. I don't care. Go my Icelandic water.
You still in ice?
That's some bullshit.
In a glacier.
Y'all see what I gotta deal with? This joke. Don't come in here with some stuff and then bring me nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing out there? He's full of shit. And I'm about to prove it. What you were saying?
Hey man, you the dog. You my guy. What's up, bro?
See? Yeah. Hey.
What up, man? How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's a friendship cigar though.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's a cigar you're supposed to share.
Don't push it.
I'm just saying, you're the best guy I've ever met.
No.
You're a brother from another
Came
mother.
in, didn't have anything to share. Yeah, Icelandic water and everything. Here you go.
Y'all don't know. This little ugly ass cigar is good as hell. This is a really good. What is this called?
The Caldwell.
The Caldwell.
Something.
You about to say chupacabra?
I was.
It's not chupacabra.
No, it's not chupacabra. It's close to that.
It's a cigar that's wrapped. It's like 3 cigars that are braided, and you're supposed to break them apart, separate them, and share them. But wasn't the story on that one? That's how the factory workers was able to sneak out more than 1 cigar a day, or something like that.
Yeah. By
weaving those 3 together, knowing good and well ain't nobody smoking all 3 of them at the same time. Smoke all 3 of them at the same time, boy. You be flying high as a kite. Like, hey man, today is a beautiful day, man. It's so chill, I don't know what to do with myself but sit here and bask in the glory of the light of the power of the all,
Yeah, my most electric charms.
It's supposed to be like Jamaican. That was in the Irish.
No, I'm sorry. That's what it sounds
He is
like.
horrible at accents. Think about it, Coach. His mom went to a doctor recommended Boule Queen. Oprah. Oh, I didn't know that. Didn't know that at all. I don't know much about that guy because I've never really liked that guy. Even when the first time somebody's like, I was at Six Flags and this lady, I was just messing with these people. They had their family reunion shirts on. I was like, hey, where the picnic? I'm one of them people I can meet some strangers and be like, hey, where the picnic at? Where we going? I mess with everybody. And some girl like, going somewhere looking like Kanye West. And I was like, okay, who's that? I didn't know who that was. But so I don't know much about it. And I don't know, maybe it's growing up in Atlanta, but when you grow up in Atlanta, you could care less about celebrities because they are dime a dozen. You know, they don't mean as much, so we don't pay attention to them. At least when I was growing up. Most of the majority of people I knew we didn't pay attention. Did you pay attention to celebrities growing up? Right, we didn't give a shit. So I didn't know that. Now so this one young lady, she's saying that Kanye's mother had recommended the doctor that Kanye went to see, and that's why Kanye crazy as hell. You know anything about that? That Oprah?
His mother's been dead for a long time.
I know. She said the doctor. He said his mom went to, I got one contact in and one out, so I can't see shit. His mom went to a doctor recommended by the Boule Queen Oprah. So maybe that the doctor killed his mom, maybe so that he can go crazy.
Well, that's always been the theory of you to ascend to a particular height in the music business, that you had to make a sacrifice. And if you notice, after his mom died, he ascended quite quickly. Yeah, if you want to talk about people who have to make a sacrifice, blood sacrifices in Hollywood and all that stuff, that little milk dud joker who just went back there, all in it. But I can't get him to do a show with me to save his life. Right, she had a gastric bypass and she died mysteriously. Which is a simple procedure.
You heard him. He said that was a simple procedure. So he is all in on knowing like the sacrifices that people supposedly or possibly made in order to ascend in that realm, secret society kind of thing we talked about earlier. Do I have a website to order cigars? You can go to Smoking Phoenix right now, but I haven't put all the cigars out there. There's only one cigar out there. Next, I need to take that one off because I don't have any right now. But the best thing to do, bro, is call. Call me. Call the lounge. I don't know what the lounge number. What's the lounge phone number? I never called the lounge. But look, Google Smoking Phoenix Cigars and the phone number's on there. Google Smoking Phoenix Cigars and the number's on there. And we could talk about what you may want to order. The one that he just brought me, you can't order because he got that from this other dude. There are 14,000 different cigars out there in the world. We don't carry all of them. But there may be something to it. I don't know, because it just seems very coincidental that a lot of these people lose somebody in their life, or they come on TV dressed like a woman, or they have some clandestine meeting, and then all of a sudden the person blow up. I don't know. Erykah Badu be seeing in people's souls, and all of a sudden they blow up. They do. Everybody that after they finish dating, while they're dating, and after they date Erykah Badu, they blow up to a certain degree. Common. What's your boy from your side of Atlanta? Well, he ain't from your side, but your side means the south side. Andre 3000. I'm from the north side. We sedity. We the boule up in the north side.
Well, you can't say that because Jay Electronica. See, one of her baby daddies.
Jay
Electronica.
Jay Electronica?
Yes, he's from New Orleans. He's a rapper. Been around for a while.
Come a little closer. Make sure the mics pick up your bullshit.
He's a rapper. He's been around for a while.
Right.
Influential, but hasn't really had any commercial success. He come, on the national level.
When did he come into the picture? When was they together? Was this before Common and Andre 3000?
I'm trying to remember which baby daddy he is.
Because maybe her powers wasn't ready yet. She had to hone them powers more.
Who knows? but she's been with what was it, DOC. You do know who that is.
I know who DOC is. Yeah.
Well, you know.
He out of Texas. I know who DOC is.
Yeah, they were together when they were young.
They were young.
Yeah.
Maybe he was the sacrifice so she can blow up.
No.
Didn't you say he was a sacrifice for somebody?
No.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I could have swore you said that. Because he was with the whole West Coast thing.
He was, yes, because his album blew up, you know, the formula and all that good stuff. Then he was in that car accident that severed his vocal cords. That's why he talked like this.
Right, I knew he had an accident. Oh, the phone number for the lounge is it's on Facebook, YouTube. It's 678-691-6251. 678-691-6251. Thank you, Angeline. Said Electa is gay.
Huh?
You talking about Erykah Badu? Oh, he said Electa is gay. Who is Electa? That the person you just said?
I said J Electronica.
J Electronica.
Yeah.
That was the stage name.
That's his.
J Electronica.
Yes.
That was literally his stage name. He was sitting up there thinking, "Ooh, what can my stage name mean?" J.
Oh, he's a pretty dope guy.
J Electronica. That's my stage. That sounds like somebody who would have a stage name in the 80s.
No, he's certified goon.
He's certified dumbass stage name.
If you say so.
As a dumbass stage name. Sorry.
That's your opinion.
It is. Is he gay?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. That's what he said.
Hey, if they had that information,
I don't know.
you know.
But it is strange how some of these people go through something. Like, who was it? Somebody said they would never wear a dress, never wear a dress, never wear a dress.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Then he wore a dress. And all of a sudden, he's selling out stadiums.
On SNL.
On SNL. That's right. Then he started selling out stadiums. Now he everywhere. See, that's why I couldn't be one of those people. I ain't wearing a dress. I know it's good. That's why I'm gonna wait till after I eat lunch and then I'm gonna smoke that one because I know it's good. Right. What else you got? What other conspiracy we got? What you got? Come on, music man.
What other?
Yeah, come on, you the music man. 76.
I mean, let's know about Puffy being gay and killing everybody around him, or attempting to kill everybody around him.
Puffy was gay and he tried to kill everybody?
Yes.
I thought only one person died. I know Biggie died. So you're saying Biggie was a sacrifice so that Puffy can elevate?
Yes, Biggie, he's been making money off Biggie longer than Biggie was actually alive. Think about that. Biggie died when he was 24.
Yeah.
It's 25, 26 years in the game now that he's been making money off of me.
Yeah, we got a whole cigar based on him.
Well,
Kings County.
Bro, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What up, Greg?
All right, all right.
That's another conspiracy theorist right there. You see what I do? Because earlier I was talking about how, you know, people just make assumptions about all them secret organizations. See that dude right there? He part of them secret organizations. All up in them secret organizations. Don't let the striped shirt fool you. He run a cabal.
Okay.
Let me see a little bit more. See what anybody else wrote. Then I guess I'm gonna have to get off here. He said the best year was the year his daddy died.
Who daddy died?
Well, she said Donald Glover.
That's Childish Gambino.
There you go.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah,
See, that joker is like an encyclopedia for all this music stuff.
Yeah, he's the one that makes the show ATL and all that.
Yeah, I keep telling this dude he could do a whole YouTube channel, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, on this whole music industry thing. That humanoid fight. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. That's why you got to come and hang out with us, Dog Green, when you come to Atlanta, bro. When you get stationed here for your, and you know, this is your spot. This is your spot. But I guess since these two jokers have shown up, I guess it will be. Thank you. It'll be best for me to go ahead and let them have the lounge so that they can have their conversations. Hopefully it won't be about the same sports conversation that they have every day. But with these two, they could go into a whole bunch of different stuff. So y'all have a great day. See y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to talk about slavery in the Bible and black people being indigenous. Now we're going to stay on slavery in the Bible. And we may not deal with the other subject matter. It depends on how deep and how long we go dealing with slavery in the Bible as to whether or not we would talk about our black people indigenous to America or Africa. I don't say both personally, but hey, it is what it is. But I know a slavery conversation can go into that conversation, so we'll have that conversation. Hey, Greg. They say you don't want them secret society to come and get you for real, for real. No. You don't want them secret society to come and get you for real.
No, they ain't coming to get me.
I know you part of them.
That's right.
I know you part of them.
That's what they own.
Anyway, so that's what we're gonna talk about tomorrow: slavery in the Bible. Wait a minute. So, Greg, we talking about slavery in the Bible tomorrow. You want to show up early?
I might come through. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, I started at 10.
There's no such thing as slavery.
But I mean,
slavery was a choice, according to Kanye West.
So tomorrow y'all might see the humidor all broken shit, the glass everywhere, the chairs broken, because I might have to whoop somebody, right?
What, man?
Yeah, so yeah, that bullshit. Actually, I did see somebody say that on TikTok yesterday, coming some slavery was a choice. Right on, just seeing you live here. Thank you, appreciate it. So,
what do you think about that?
Great, he got great all of them. So
a lot of times
we'll see. But continue to share. I appreciate the financial donations. Continue to share those. Share. And let me say one time, share. The other videos I shoot later on the day that I post, I have no idea what most of them are, but I have an idea what a couple of them are going to be. So share those videos as well. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your journey, your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.
It's a different arena.
But it's not.
Yeah. I'm only playing devil's
They can
advocate.
talk about sports.
In the way that they're doing it, in the way that they're doing it versus the way he's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thuggerish.
Well,